Okay, today's video is going to be different. I'm a little bit angry, I'm a bit frustrated, and I've got a soapbox that I'm going to stand on for a little while to say something that needs to be said. That's because today we're talking about what happens when people steal your work. That's right, it's been a frustrating week for me, to say the least. I've seen some flows in traffic, some patterns in the wave of business that have been slowing down a bit, and upon looking further into why things are doing what they're doing, I've found that there are a half a dozen people on the wonderful platform called Fiverr who have stolen my work and passed it off as their own. Now, here's why it's frustrating to me. This is frustrating on several different levels, so I'll try to break it down for you. It's frustrating for me because I've put in about a decade of hard work, sweat, and tears to get where I am today. Not only as somebody who has a viable business that supports other people and a team, but to bring my quality of work, my eye, my ability to see what's good and what's not good up to where it is today. I'm by no means a perfectionist, but I do have high standards for the work I put out there. And so when someone steals that work, what I see is someone trying to bypass all that hard work to get where I am today. You see, my advantage on the market is my hard work, my perseverance, and the time that I have put in. But when someone steals from me and passes my work off as theirs, what they're saying is, I'm going to try to bypass all that hard work and try to find the same benefit. Now, here's why I wanted to talk about this today. Not so we could have a little boohoo session for Joel, because Joel's doing fine. But what really grinds my gears, as Peter Griffin would say, is the fact that things like this channel, where I give my time away for free, where I do this to help benefit other people, things like this channel attract attention to me that makes this occurrence more common. Where it makes it more common for people to rip me off and take things that I've done and pass it off as their own, where it takes things that I've put a lot of time and thought and energy into and makes them susceptible or vulnerable to plagiarism or copying. Now, I'm not here to say that this channel is the most popular thing in the world. We're about to hit 10,000 subscribers, and I'm super excited about that. I love that so many of you are coming here for the right reasons. But for those of you that come here for the wrong reasons, to maybe see a shortcut to some road to success, I'm here to say you need to buzz off, because it's really frustrating to see losers try to fast track their way to the top, because I believe that people who steal from others are losers, in fact. Hope I wasn't unclear about that. But what I wanted to talk about today maybe is just a way for me to process what's happened to me, as I've found about a half a dozen people on Fiverr today alone who have stolen some piece of content from me and are passing it off as their own, who are using my face or my image or my company's trademark or logo to make their work, give their work more attention. Because I've just experienced this and I'm a little hot under the collar, I thought I would use you as my therapist to kind of talk about why I think people do this. I've got several reasons. I'm flying from the seat of my pants because I'm a little bit jolted by this, but I wanted to give you a breakdown of why I think people steal, because I'm not alone. If you're a logo designer or a graphic designer, this is not just a Fiverr thing. This is an internet thing. I tell people that all the time. They say, well, Fiverr is full of plagiarism. People steal your stuff all the time. While that may be true in fields like logo design, graphic design, and in my case, as I can tell you from explainer videos, it happens, and evidently happens a lot to people who are popular sellers on the platform. I believe that it happens all over the internet. So this is not a Fiverr thing. This is an internet thing. And the age that we live in makes it easy for someone to copy someone else's work or just steal it entirely and pass it off as their own. But the reason I believe people do this has several things behind it. The first thing is, I believe that these people are simply looking for a way to get rich quick. That people who copy and plagiarize are looking for a shortcut to the top. They're looking for get rich quick. They're looking for a way to make a buck today, but it's something that won't last. If you have to steal someone's work to get work, eventually people will realize you're not the person that created that quality piece of content, that quality logo, that quality design, that quality piece of copy, and you won't have a business because you don't actually have talent or skills. You see, you need talent or marketable skills to actually run a business and succeed over time. So eventually, all of these copycatters, they'll fall away. They won't have a business to stand on. It's not an effective means to get ahead. So in many ways, it's just a minor and temporary frustration. But the second part of it that makes me even more angry is that these people want to pass themselves off as creatives. They want to say to the world, I'm here to create something, when in fact, all they're here to do is tear something down. Because when you steal someone's content, whether you intend to or not, you actually degrade the originality of their content. You degrade their original thought, their intellectual property. You cheapen it by making it into a commodity like a Bitcoin, something that can go up and down and the value can fluctuate because of demand or fear or whatever the other factors that affect a commodity like that. You cheapen art, and you're not really a creative. You're somebody who's looking to capitalize on the hard work of others and call yourself a creative when you didn't have the gumption to create in the first place. So let's just be real for a moment. Those of you that consider yourself a creative, ask yourself this: how much original thought do you put into your creations? Now, I want you to answer this in the comments down below. I want to hear from you who are true creatives. How much time, energy, and thought do you put into the creations that you put out in this world? Because I believe for true creatives, it's a ton of thought. A ton of time, a ton of effort. You're thinking about it when you go to sleep. You're thinking about it when you're in the shower and your mind is not occupied. You're thinking about it when you're taking your dog for a walk. And I say those three things because that's how my mind works. It wakes up when it's not occupied with screens or other things like that. It wakes up when I have just a few minutes to let it be and let it churn. And the reason I ask that question is because if you don't have an answer for it, if you don't have an answer for immediately for when your brain turns on and gets creative, then you're not a creative. And if you need to steal somebody else's work or even find heavy influence in somebody else's work, you're not truly a creative. Could you become a creative? Yeah, I believe you could. I believe you could leave your brain alone, let it be bored a little bit, let it run, come up with some thought. It may not be great today, but down the road it might be better if you let it. But certainly those who choose to copy today are not real creatives. And thirdly, the one thing that bothers me the most about this plagiarism is that it's just simply lazy. You see, a lot of me wants to say, this is an American problem, but most people who've ripped me off are not American. This is a worldwide problem. This is a problem that we as humans have, where we see somebody else digging a hole and we want to stand next to the pile of dirt that they've dug up and claim, or at least be associated with that level of hard work at some point, whether or not it's true. It's just simply lazy to take someone else's accomplishment, someone else's hard work, and pass it off as your own. And it means that, in my mind, you have no place in the creative community. It means that you belong to another community that I don't even want to put a name on because it's negative. You belong to the community of haters, maybe, the community of stealers, the community of joy takers, whatever you want to call it. You're a part of a community that wants to capitalize on being lazy. And I'm sad to say I think that number is growing every bit a little, every more, even more a little bit every day. But it doesn't mean in the end that we as creators should quit. It doesn't mean that we should give up on what we're doing, how strongly we feel about what we create and what we do, because there are haters, there are lazy people, there are non-creatives passing themselves off as creatives out there. It means that we should hold more tightly to the integrity of what we do and the effort that we put behind it. You see, I think that is the number one reason why being a creative is so cool. Why it gets me out of bed and onto this desk every single day is that I get to create things that are brand new. I get to have original thoughts and I can change them at any time. And because it's never been my effort, intent, or object to copy somebody else's work. I can come here to this computer and create something different every single day. And I know that when it's done, it's going to have my thumbprint on it, and that's going to be special to someone. It may not be special to everyone, but my unique creative thumbprint is going to be special to someone out there. All I have to do is find that someone. So if you're a seller, if you're a doer, if you're a freelancer, and you've seen other people steal your work, know this: you still have a unique fingerprint to put on this world. You need to keep creating. We need you to keep creating. We need you to ignore the copiers, the lazy people, the phonies, the people that try to pass other people's work off as their own. And we need you to forge on and continue to create. Because a platform like Fiverr is not going to get better if people quit simply because others are copying their content and trying to pass it off on their own. Am I angry that I spent almost 2 hours today surfing through the explainer video category to find half a dozen people stealing my work? Yes, I am. But at the end of the day, you know what I have to hold on to? I have to hold on to the fact that there were half a dozen people, probably more, and this has happened in other times. So there were people out there who thought my work was so good that they needed to steal it. And that means that I can create something good again. I can do it again. And that a piece of original content won't be copied when I create it. And it won't be copied immediately. Maybe it will eventually. But I know that I've done something of value that people tried to tear it down. People tried to steal it. People tried to cheapen it. And I try to give myself a little encouragement in that, and hopefully you a little encouragement in that this problem of these phonies stepping onto a platform like Fiverr and doing this, that it's not the end. They don't get the final word, and they don't get to determine what your future is. Only you get to determine what your future is going to be. And as I've asked myself many times, is your future going to be one where you quit and give up and let the haters win? Or is it going to be something where you forge ahead, forge forward, do something innovative and change something that they can't copy? Put your own fingerprint on it in a way that's impossible for them to duplicate or replicate, or so obvious that even when they do copy it, people see through it as a phony. Is there something you can do? Is there a way you can be creative that will stop that? And I believe true creative genius, not that I think I'm a genius, rises to the top. Greatness, perseverance, and time always wins. So thanks for letting me get that off my chest. I didn't have any notes for that. I just kind of went because I wanted it to be authentic. I wanted it to be real. I wanted you to hear my thoughts, because so often I get on this channel and I'm simply trying to encourage you. And that's what I wanted this to do today. I'm getting some frustration out, but also encouraging you while encouraging myself. Not to let the haters win. Don't give up. Don't get tired of beating them off with a stick, because you're blessed if you have to beat people off with a stick. If they are copying your content, that means that you have something worth copying. And if you're one of those people out there that sees someone else copying another person's content, tell them. Thank you to those of you who are viewers who have let me know when other people are copying my content. And I'm not going to let that junk stop me from putting positivity out into this world through this channel. I'm not going to stop supporting freelancers and creators because it makes me more susceptible to these things. So stay here, stay tuned, and I'll have more videos for you later this week. Hey, thanks so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed this content, please give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below. You can subscribe for more videos right over there. And there's actually a playlist of videos right there that would really be great for you if you're looking for more tips on how to become a top-rated seller on Fiverr. So until next time, keep doing, because the future favors the doers.